Hi guys, hope you are well and welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing such an exciting video. I have been tagged to do this video by the gorgeous Jodie from Mama Izzo and also Rhian Gibson, and I am going to be sharing with you today the baby name tag for 2018. Now this baby name tag was created by the gorgeous SJ, and basically she has created baby name videos for ages now. She has the best pile of baby names that I could possibly think of, and she literally has every sort of genre as such. So if you kind of, well, whatever you want, like vintage names and stuff like that, she has videos on it. So if you're looking for any sort of baby name inspiration, then I would definitely head on over to her channel and I'll link that below for you. But basically she has created a tag and she has multiple questions, and basically she has asked people to share their thoughts on them and tagged people. Okay, so we both know that my names for my children are quite different. So I have a 3-year-old son called Klayton, and I also have a 1-year-old son called Parker, and they're not very conventional names for the UK, to the point that I don't know anyone named Klayton at all, and I have never met anyone called Parker, but I've heard of a few people that are called Parker in the past. Like I might have come across the name on social media or something like that, but I've never actually heard or known anyone in person to be named either of the boys' names. Now there's a reason for that. Not only do I like different names because I just like the way they sound, I wouldn't want him to be like one of a million in a classroom. Any names that are kind of up there on the charts of popular names, I tend to steer clear of because I just don't like the thought of there being 3 of that same person in the classroom. But likewise, the names in my family, or not so much my side, but Adam's family, get as common as you can get. So basically our surname is Smith, so hence Mrs. Smith and Co. And obviously Adam's Adam Smith, his dad is a Tom Smith. Like you just can't get any more common than that. So I like names that just make the Smith not sound so popular and standard and boring. There are 10 questions, so if you want to see what my favourite baby names are, then just keep watching. Okay, so the first question is, if you had a baby tomorrow, what would you call them, boy and girl? Now, this is an easy one for me, boy-wise, because I always have a list of boys because I always happen to have boys. I have so many girls' names, but I always switch up which names I'm liking. Boys' names-wise, this one is something that I wanted to call Parker. I loved this name, and Adam basically said, no way in hell. I had loved this name for years, and it's the name Bodie. Now, I really like it. I think Bodie Smith has a really nice ring to it. I think it sounds really nice. It's an original name. I don't know anyone, again, that's called Bodie, but I have noticed that over the last year or so, since I've named Parker, Bodie's become a bit more popular. Not that that would necessarily put me off, because I don't think there'd be any Bodies in his class, but it kind of has put me off a little bit. But if I had a little boy, that would be the name that I would choose. Adam vetoed it because he was saying that people would go around calling him Bogey Bodie, which very immature from his end, but I guess you do have to think of the names that children might start calling your child, I guess, but I don't think that at all, and I think it's a really sweet name. For a little girl, I would call her Arabella. I absolutely love this name. I love how pretty and sweet it sounds. You will notice from the names that I've got, like girly girl names, there probably would be another name, but I'm using it on a different area of this questionnaire, so that's why it's not included in this, but Arabella would be definitely up there. I think it sounds so sweet, it's so lovely, and I just love it. So the next one is an easy one for me, and it is, what would you rename yourself if you had the choice, keeping the same letter? So this one is so easy. I actually hate my name. I hate Ellis. I know that my mum and dad love it and they really do like it, but I hate it because there are so many people that come up to me and they either can't get my name, so they're like, Elise, Ellie, Ella, they won't know how to spell it, or I get there, well, that's a boy's name. That's a boy's name, that's not a girl's name. Now, I didn't actually know anybody called Ellis until there was a girl like 6 or 7 years younger than me in primary school, and she was also called Ellis. I'd never met a boy called Ellis until I met my husband, and his best friend is a boy who is also called Ellis. And I mean, out of all the names you could think of in the whole entire world, my husband's best friend happens to be called Ellis. But yeah, I really hate it. So if I had the choice, I would rename myself Elise. I absolutely love the name Elise, and I would actually name a little girl Elise if it wasn't for the fact that it was just too similar to my own name. I don't think I could have Ellis and Elise in the same family. I think it'd just get a bit too confusing and a bit too similar, but I just think, again, it sounds so girly. I love the way it looks on paper when you write it. I just think it's so sweet and so pretty. So the next question is, what would I have been called / what do I wish I'd been called if I was the opposite gender? So I point blank know what I would have been called, because my brother's now called it, and my name, because I'm the firstborn, if I was a boy, I would have been called George. Now, again, this is kind of quite a conventional name. It's actually become quite a bit popular since obviously Prince George was born. It's not a name that I'm particularly fond of because I just don't like common names, and I actually prefer like mine and my sister's names over my brother's because they're not as conventional, I could say. It's not that I hate the name George at all, it's just I'm not a big fan of it, but obviously everyone has their own opinions on names, but that would have been what I would have been called. If I could name myself and I was a boy, I would probably go with the name Hugo. I love the name Hugo for a little boy. I think it's so sweet. I think it's a really good name to kind of grow up in, and I think when they're older, it's quite authoritative. I just think it would be a really good name for any sort of role. I think it sounds nice as a child and as an adult, and so if I had the choice, I would name myself Hugo if I was a boy. Now the next question is your favourite vintage baby name for a boy and a girl, and again, these names are super easy for me, so I actually like a lot of vintage names. There are so many on the list that I could actually tell you, but top of the list, if I had a little girl right now, so I guess this kind of replaces the first question, but I wanted it in this section, I would name a little girl Delilah. Now, I absolutely love the name Delilah. I think it is so, so pretty. And I'm just telling you, these are names that are legitimately on my names list, and they're very high up, like in terms of if I had a baby today, this is what I would call them. I've kind of like a, you know, they're like baby names I wouldn't be using. These are baby names that I would be using. I know I'm quite a minority in these names, but I love the name Delilah. I think it sounds so pretty, and obviously Lila for short, which I also think is lovely. Again, I love the way it looks on picture. I love the name of Delilah Smith. I think that would sound really, really pretty, and I just absolutely love it. If I had a little boy, I love the name Arthur, and again, this was another one that was potentially for Parker. This was definitely on the list, but I think again, it had just become quite popular at the time, and it was definitely something that kind of swayed me off because they were becoming more and more Arthurs, and so it was something that I just kind of deterred away from. I don't think it would be a name that I would use now because of how popular it has become, but I do really love the name Arthur as well. Now the next one is favourite nature baby name for a boy and a girl, and again this one's really easy because when I was pregnant with Parker, if Parker was a girl, he would have been called this, although Adam puts me off of this name now. So first of all, I know quite a few little girls with this name now, so that kind of is one thing that steers me away from it. And second of all, the Trolls movie, so you can kind of guess that I'm going to say the name Poppy. I absolutely love the name Poppy. I think it is so, so sweet, but I know so many Poppies now that I just don't think I'd want to use it for my own child, but I think it's so pretty, it's so lovely, it has such a lovely ring to it, so it would definitely be Poppy. And for a boy, now this one's kind of a bit out there, but I love the name Rain. I think Rain is so, so nice, so I wouldn't spell it the conventional Rain way, which then makes it not into the nature field, but it kind of is. It's kind of me just doing play on it really. But I love the name Rain, so I'd spell it R-E-I-G-N. And I just, again, think this is really lovely. I couldn't really think of any other nature names that I liked, and I love the name Rain. Again, I don't necessarily think I would name my child directly that name right now, but it's definitely probably the favourite nature name that I have. Okay, so next up, it says your favourite YouTuber's name and or baby name. Now, I have heard so many people say this, and I actually think Jodie and Rhian both said this name, so I mean, you know, but they kind of used Anna Ciccone and the Ciccone family's name, and Ciccone Jollies have 4 children, and the name that I love the most is Alicia or Alessia, dependent on how you pronounce it. Again, it is so sweet, it sounds quite vintage, it's very different. I've never heard of any other Alessias. It kind of follows the kind of sweet tones of the Arabellas and stuff like that, which I absolutely love, and I think it's such a pretty name. So if there was a YouTuber's name that I had to pick, it would 100% be that name. Next up, we have your favourite literary name. And I have 2 of these, and for a moment I struggled because I know what names I like, and again, these names have been on my list for girls for ages, and I absolutely love them. So the first name is Savannah. Now, I absolutely love Savannah. I actually got my love from Savannah when I was watching a TV programme years and years and years and years and years ago, and it was about these teenagers that have been put in a house and they were all getting drunk. This sounds really weird, I know, but there was this blonde girl in there and her name was Savannah, and ever since I've really loved it, and it was on my list of names, and I thought, well, actually I'm going to see if there's anyone in like some sort of literature context that might have this name. And there is, if any of you have watched, I think it's based on the film and there's a book about it, but Dear John, there is a Savannah in that. That's kind of the only way that I could cheat for this, I guess, because I'm really picky about names, but Savannah I absolutely love. And I also love the name Nelly. Now, the reason why I love the name Nelly actually is more of a personal reason for me. So I love the name Nelly because my nan was Nanny Nell, and well, this is my great nan, she was Nanny Nell, and her name was actually Ellen. So my youngest sister's middle name is Ellen. But we always used to call her Nanny Nell, and I love the kind of spin-off of that of Nelly. But again, I think it was Billy Fairs named her little girl Nelly, and then it became really, really popular. And again, this was going to be a name that I considered for both Klayton and Parker if they were girls, but I think I probably wouldn't choose it as much now. But there's a Nelly in Wuthering Heights. So again, using that kind of spin-off for the literature names. Okay, so the next one is your favourite O name that isn't Oliver or Olivia. A girl's name that I absolutely love is Ophelia. Again, it's kind of got that really, really pretty feel to it. I absolutely love how it looks on paper. It is just absolutely stunning. It's definitely a favourite name for me, for a name beginning with an O. And for a boy, there was actually nothing that came to mind and no O names that came instantly to mind. And then I remembered that on the list for Klayton was the name Oakley. Now, I absolutely loved the name Oakley, and I don't think, again, I would use it now because, again, I know quite a few Oakleys, but again, I think it's such a boy name. It's very different. I think it sounds lovely. It kind of reminds me of like very like autumnal woody vibes, I guess because it's got the oak part in it maybe, but I really love the name, the way that Oakley sounds, and I just think it's a really, really lovely name. The only thing is I can't imagine Oakley as an adult. I don't know, I just can't imagine that step up, and that's probably the one reason why it kind of put me off, but I really, really love that name. Okay, I feel like we're coming to the end. So the next one is, what did you wish you were called when you were younger? Now, this is an interesting one because I have said so many times in this video that I hate any names that are conventional, and the idea of Klayton having a name where he's one of 3 in a classroom puts me off. But that being said, both the names I've chosen and both the names that I wish that I was called when I was younger was based off the fact that there were multiple girls with this name in my primary school, and I remember wanting to have the same name and absolutely loving it. And now I look at the names and I definitely wouldn't want to be called those names now because of how common they are. Not that I like my name much better, but when I was younger there were 2 names. So the first one was Beth. I had so many Beths in my classroom, in my old school, in my primary school, and I remember just being so jealous that they had a name that was like really nice and everybody had it, and it wasn't completely extravagant and out there, which would make you think that I'd be like that for my children, but I'm not. So I love the name Beth because there was a few of them in my class, and also Rebecca. There was loads of Rebeccas. There was like 3 Rebeccas in my class as well, and I remember absolutely loving the name Rebecca. And again, Rebecca is so common now for people my age, and I'm kind of glad that I'm not a Rebecca or a Beth, but I absolutely love that name too. And then the last question is, what name would you / did you immediately veto? Now, this list could kind of go on forever because there were so many names that I vetoed when Adam said them. For example, the name Callum. Adam, that was one that Adam kind of suggested the other day to me when I was asking him about these questions. It was a name that he suggested and I absolutely hated it. But Adam was a very plain Jane with the names, I guess, and anything that you can think of that's conventional and standard and kind of what a lot of people like Jack and any sort of names like that, they're the names that Adam would choose, and they would be the names that I would instantly veto. I'm just not a conventional down the line name. I like names that are really different, really pretty, and kind of have like a standout fact to them and just don't make you one of a million in your classroom like the names that I would have wanted to be called if I was younger. But yeah, they're the names. So anything that's kind of conventional just doesn't do it for me, but that's it. Well guys, I hope you have enjoyed hearing the baby names that I've chose. Like I said, these are all legitimate names. So if I have another baby, which I'm not having anytime soon, but if I were to have another baby, these are legitimate names that I would choose right now. So obviously, you guys have a little insight. If I have a baby, you can probably damn be sure that it'd be one of these names. There are a lot more boys' names on my list, funny enough, that I had all lined up for Parker and never ended up using, so you probably got an insight to more girly names that I would use because I haven't actually had the girls in my life. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and enjoyed some of these names. So I'm actually going to tag a few people to do this tag as well. So I am going to tag the lovely Madison. She is a lovely American lady. She has 2 little boys like me. I recently did a collaboration with her. She is from over the pond over in America, and she has just found out that she is pregnant with baby number 3. So I'm so excited for her. So I'd love to hear some of her names. I'm also going to tag the gorgeous Ash from Mama Read. I'd love to know the baby names that you have kind of lined up if you were to have a third child. And I'm also going to tag the lovely Lauren as well. She has a gorgeous little daughter called Darcy, and Darcy would definitely be on the names of vintage names that I would love, but Adam vetoed that one because he knew somebody who would name someone Darcy, but I absolutely really love that name. So I'm also going to tag the lovely Lauren as well. So I hope you guys have enjoyed watching this video. If you have, I would love for you to like this video so I know you have enjoyed it. I would also love for you to subscribe if you are new to my channel, as I do lots of lifestyle, parenting, cleaning, hauls, home interior decor. I have so much home interior stuff coming up right now, so you should stay tuned for that. I'll also link all the other girls below so you can head on over and find their videos when they create them, and I will see you all again for another video shortly. Bye guys.
I just wanna hold you. I just wanna look into your eyes and tell